The hobby comes in different shapes and sizes. I like to build giant things. That's not accessible to everyone. So today we're going to go to my favorite hobby store and do a one-day build, go back to the basics, and have fun. Unfortunately, this board fell off the wall as soon as I finished my 4-foot by 4-foot Mordheim board. I did switch from using magnets to using a French cleat, and having like a metal clamp to hold it up against the wall is gonna eliminate that from ever falling again. We're going to be rebuilding this corner of the Mordheim board. I never really liked this building to begin with. It was too cramped over here too, so let's tear out this wall as well. You don't have a Mordheim board to build off of, but you could just use a chunk of styrofoam instead. When scratch building, a strong silhouette and shape and texture is what really is going to make the building look cool. Don't get caught up on right angles and straight lines. The imperfections are what will really give this build dimension, and adding several shapes and just smashing them together is going to give this building the ramshackle feel. Now that we're done with the foam core, I'm going to take some popsicle sticks and clothespins, glue them the right way, and we're gonna scratch build some windows and frame out this building to look like a Tudor house, something to resemble the medieval architecture this game is going after. To make this look convincing, add a beam for the peak of the roof, each edge of the walls, and across the top of the window. This will make it look like it's supporting itself. And I was able to track down air dry clay at the dollar store too, and I textured that with a clump of concrete I found on the side of the road a while ago. So like I was saying previously, the hobby can come in many different forms, and there is no right answer to do anything. For me, there are elements of scratch building I really enjoy, like adding texture is one of my favorite things to do, but like the little details can be really time consuming and I don't really enjoy it. So I like to 3D print my windows. This is a lot more accessible than you might think initially. I have free STLs if you have a 3D printer. And if you don't, I have an eBay listing where you can grab 20 windows for like $12. I've recently added the make an offer. So if you think $12 is too much, make an offer and maybe we can make it work. I'm gonna use the same principles for this bigger section of the building. I'm cutting out a section of it and gluing in that little jut out at an odd angle, texturing the stucco the same way with the air dry clay and the concrete rock. I planked the roof with jumbo popsicle sticks. Don't forget to leave a comment. It goes a long way to help this video perform well. With a variety of different popsicle sticks, I textured the front of this platform as well as the top. Okay, so we're almost done building this thing. Now it's time for the little details that are going to make this thing look like a building. At the dollar store, you can find self-adhesive cork to be used as cork boards, and I like to use this material as shingles. So I get some scallop scissors and I cut it into strips, and then I use some clippers to cut halfway up them to separate each shingle out. Then you just peel and stick it, and I like to stick these into groups, kind of clumping them together, because if they were gonna fall off, I feel like most of them would fall off together, and some of the ones that are a little more hardy would stick together, holding each other in place. Then I glued the whole building down to the foundation and glued the shingles down permanently with PVA glue. I brought this outside to prime it in a dark brown, and I masked anything I didn't want primed again with tin foil. I like the wood of Mordheim to look really dead, so I paint everything with a bluish gray, or almost tannish as well. Just depending on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I also mix in a green to make it look a little bit more wet. Then I stipple on a tan color for all the stucco. That's to make sure that it kind of goes on uneven and it kind of models up. Interiors can be hard and intimidating. So for this one, I just made it pretty two-dimensional, very flat, and then I stippled on the stucco texture again, and it adds a lot of dimension, kind of hides the fact that I went minimal on the effort here. My section of Mordheim has a fictitious HOA that requires me to paint all the gargoyles, windows, and shingles in a green color. And this just allows me to save some time as far as decision making goes, as well as unifying the whole board with something that's pretty consistent. Painting the windows that green color saves a lot of time in gameplay because players will look for that green and know that they can shoot from it. Also at the dollar store are these spray bottles, and I just put black paint, maybe a little bit of green, and water in it, and I just spray it all over everything. This does a really good job of kind of dripping down and making some like black mold spots and just kind of darkening everything. With a paper towel, I also dabbed it off the high point so it wouldn't pool in weird areas. Clicking that download button to download the Mordheim rulebook, which is free by the way, has sent me down a rabbit hole that honestly I don't want to get out of. This hobby can take literally any form and really fit any budget. The terrain itself can be as complicated as you want, and that's honestly one of my favorite parts about this game. I spent probably, like $12 on materials, and I only used portions of that, like an eighth of foam core, maybe like 28 popsicle sticks, and only I think 4 plastic animals, 8 clothespins, 9-10 clothespins, and some air dry clay. That's one of my favorite parts, is being resourceful, and creative thinking can get you a long way. So I don't want to get too sappy about this, but I just really love this hobby. And if you would like to get into Mordheim, I'll have the link in the description for those. For the 3D printed windows I mentioned earlier, that is also in the description. Make me an offer if you think it's too expensive. I want this to be as accessible for everyone as possible. And that's why all those STLs on Patreon are free. And if you find value in it, it's only $2 or $5 a month to become a patron. If you are a patron, thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing and commenting. This whole hobby journey on YouTube has been phenomenal. A lot of creators say this, but I do have one of the best communities on YouTube. I love this little corner of the hobby. So if you want to become a part of it, there's a free Discord in the description. I sell merch. There's going to be a new t-shirt that comes out this week or next week. And yeah, I think that'll do it.